It's what's on the inside that counts.
You mean my skeleton, my flesh, and my stomach, and my...
Dear body, I wish I had listened. For some reason, I didn't want to acknowledge that there was anything wrong. That everything was fine when it just wasn't. Bleeding noses and unexplained bruises were simply just not loud enough. Not even passing out and yellow skin alarmed me enough to actually do something about it. It didn't even process that it could have been anything more than a cold. Rushed into hospital in a partially conscious state was the biggest sign we could have gotten. Reading it a minute later would have never let me write this today. Dear blood, I'm sorry you were pumped full of foreign chemicals, but it was to help, I promise. When given the news, it was a last resort. We didn't even know if it would work. You put up a good fight, even if it could have been easier to give up. And we were prepared for you to give up from the outset. A final sentence of 2 weeks made the future seem unreachable, and yet you kept fighting. Yes, maybe it was at the cost of playtimes with the others and an isolated life, but at least it meant I had a future. Dear Dad, it was always inconvenient to you, and I never understood why. Waking up from sedation to no friendly face, but a rather pitiful nurse letting me know I had been abandoned by my own father at the operating table is hard enough for a child, let alone one fighting to see the sunrise the next morning. It was clearly easier to watch your child rot away than to do something to change that.
Gonna get us all in this together.
How do you see this? Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Missed medications, leaving me hanging on to a lifeline every time you forgot.
Did you know?
Prioritising your new family and preserving your perfect image was more important to you. After all, I was just a weekend gig. Then it was Mum's problem, wasn't it? Dear Mum, I remember driving down the lane from the old house to Grandad's bungalow. You said you'd found a lump and that it was our little secret. That, even though you'd be fighting too, I'd still be the priority. I wish you would have prioritised yourself. You fought my battles and then your own, and I saw how it chipped away at you. You just wanted things to be normal, for us to be normal again, and for us to live normally. But when the life of your child and then yourself is at risk, normality surely felt a bit out of reach. The first time I had chemo without holding your hand, I felt so alone, even though I knew you were only 500 metres down the hall, being pumped with the same chemicals I was. A scared child without their mum. A scared mum without their child. Dear Rue, the 14th of January will forever be such an important day, no matter how many years go by. It's been about 12 now, and every day I'm taken back to when my mum and I were given the all clear, together. Not to say it's without struggle, but every day it gets a little bit easier. I have grown to be the person I have always wanted, working towards a degree and working in a job I love, surrounded by wonderful people I love, and my life is full of love instead of fear. Never blame yourself for not listening. Just be grateful you finally heard.
Yeah.
Come here, missus.
You have to get the hoover.
Get a sniggering.
Look at this. Face that one.
What?
Look, that's chocolate.
Where?
Look, that's chocolate.
Ruby.